Yo, professionals are back, and we're going to show you everything you need to know about wake foiling.
Oh wee!
I roll weary, but I ain't stopping anytime, so hear me.
So obviously there is a lot to know about foils and foil setups. I myself am underqualified to tell you about these, so I've brought along a professional who you will all recognize, Doc from Back to the Future.
It's a DeLorean, Marty!
Dr. Beaker. So one of the first things you want to look at is the board size.
Board?
A larger board with a larger surface area makes it much easier to get up and on top of the foil. It helps you with balance, it helps you with foot position. It also, you can put straps on it, or on a lot of the learner models, which help you start out so the board's not floating everywhere. A longer nose in the board helps stop the board from nose diving if you breach the foil out of the water. And then as you progress, you can move to smaller and smaller boards, which just help make the foil more mobile and just allow you to feel like you're flying through the air as opposed to having this giant tank under your feet.
Mast.
Mast length, obviously important. The longer the mast, the easier it is to pump and get above and up and out of the water. Obviously too longer mast, it becomes quite tippy, so there is a learning point where like a smaller mast, 26 inches, is going to kind of keep you just above the waterline, keep you gliding, keep it easy, and then 27 and up, you're kind of getting more to an intermediate advanced level where you're able to generate speed through pumping the mast. You also are a lot higher out of the water.
Lift.
The foil blade setup at the bottom is a science within itself. These blades have lots of subtle differences that make them perform completely different. But fundamentally, a smaller blade is going to allow you to turn on the surface a lot easier. A flatter blade is going to generate more glide. And a bigger blade is going to generate more lift. So those three things depends on what you want to do, but when you're starting out, you generally want to use a slightly flatter, smaller blade that is going to make the board feel very stable and very easy to kind of gently maneuver, and it's not going to be too twitchy. This is going to keep you nice and stable on the water. Although the higher end blades don't look a lot different, they're vastly different to use. So when you are starting out and you haven't done a lot of wake foiling, it's very important to start out on a learner or an easier foil blade, or with an easier foil blade. For instance, the Liquid Force Launch, perfect learning wake foil. This is great. Every customer we've sold it to absolutely loves it.
Spike and then lift straight away.
Yes. Why didn't you say that? That was a great thing. Go on, have you got your glasses?
Yep. The launch foil, for example, has a very low lift spike, which means that the foil isn't going to suddenly lift up and out of the water. By the same token, you're not going to then be able to take, without that lift spike, you're not going to be able to generate a lot of power from the pump. Yeah, so the Horizon foils will have a much bigger lift spike, so immediately as soon as water's moving over them, you're going to start feel the foil pushing up at you, which means they're quite unstable at initial low speeds, so you've got to be an experienced foiler to get up and over the board and take control of that lift spike.
Now, there's obviously foiling still a very new sport. There's a lot of, we give it just as much shit as the next person.
Oh wee!
But it is a great sport for a different kind of day. Some people just love foiling and that's all they want to do, but foiling can be done when conditions aren't good for wakeboarding or wake surfing or any of these other sports. You can do it and kind of have just as much fun behind a jet ski as you can a full wakeboarding boat, unless you want to let go of the rope. You need a bit more push from the wave, but generally getting up and riding around, it's the same no matter whether you're doing it in the ocean or the lake or whatever. Our own experience with foils is you, say a larger adult's not going to be able to get up and wakeboard behind a small inflatable with a 15 horse or something on it, but if you own one of these, you can actually get up if you're experienced enough on a wakeboard behind a small boat with a small outboard, because once you're up there's almost no drag. So if you can get up efficiently, you will be able to have a turn behind a small dinghy or something like that. Foiling it's really important you progress. If you have never done any water sports before, definitely start with the easiest foil around, and having some experience wakeboarding and some experience getting up on a wake surfer, for instance, or a surfboard without straps is almost a must. Like, it'll definitely help your learning curve a lot. If you've done nothing and you just want to start and get out behind the boat, there's definitely quite a steep learning curve to getting up on a foil. We will show you in another video everything about how to get up on a foil and some tips and tricks about that.